guys, welcome back to Legend of the Willow. I'm just sitting here bopping to this Christmas music. I don't know why. I was just having a good time listening to it. Look, I don't know. But okay, we're gonna be playing this. I think there was 2 episodes, so it shouldn't be as long as Dracula Love Story. I think nothing should be as long as Dracula Love Story. It just took me a minute to get to stomach all of that. Yeah, so either case, we're gonna go ahead and continue onward. It says May feels uneasy about something everyone else is interested in. Alrighty then. Hopefully I don't have to play too much. I mean, what are you talking about? Replay too much is what I was trying to say. So I'm getting lower on my cups, but I think I'm almost done with the update stuff. But still. Chapter 2, the scaffold. That's not great. Okay. Don't quarrel. Stick together. Migrating birds. After the shinobi's arrival, there was no longer a constant need to stay home. May went to the market under the pretext of buying groceries because she wanted to take a walk. The city was living in its usual rhythm. Somewhere, a richly dressed man was swearing at a cart driver who blocked the street. Somewhere, carefree children were merrily throwing dirty snow at each other. May slowly made her purchases. She lingered at a counter full of tiny jars, boxes, and various brushes. A smiling merchant woman generously encouraged her to try a few items. Oh, okay. Makeup stuff. Red shadows. Charcoal lashes. Cherry lipstick. I guess we can go with the red shadows. Or we can just go cherry lipstick. Have a little bit of a fun lip. I don't like the lips on this one. Let's just get a little bit of this for now, I think. Who knows when I'll be able to get something like this again. She then visited Mr. Riku's hairdressing shop to purchase a few good oils. Finally, after picking up some vegetables and fish, she headed back. As she neared the house, an older woman drew her attention. Hello. This is the 2nd or 3rd time I've seen her. Does she live around here? Poverty had always frightened May. It was foreign to those who were raised within the Okiya, who watched the lives of the needy only from afar. Now, after seeing what had happened to her village and spending some time in this quarter, she could not simply pass by. She stopped and called out to the woman. Madam? The woman didn't realize that she was being addressed at first. Yes? Here, take this. May held out her basket. There's a radish, a pumpkin, an eel, and something else. Take them. The woman looked closely at May. Don't be afraid, it isn't a trick. Thank you. Wait. But... The woman wrinkled her forehead, stopping May by holding up her hand. Wait here. Taking the basket, she disappeared behind the fence of a dilapidated shack. It could not truthfully be called a house. Soon she returned, carrying something narrow and oblong. May immediately recognized it as a fan. Here, for your kindness. Ooh, fun. Have an antique fan. Another antique fan. Ooh, or a blue one. What should we do? The black with the gold accents or the gold with the black accents? I guess this one will dress up a fancy outfit. This one will dress up any outfit, I feel. I don't know. And I like the flower on this one. This one's super fancy. Actually, I'm gonna choose this one though. I don't know. I feel like I get more use out of it. I don't know. It's well made. You could have sold this. No. It would be a shame to sell it. It was a gift from my deceased husband. Oh wow. Oh, then why do you want to give it to me? I'll be happy knowing that it remains in good hands. I have no one else left. You have a beautiful soul. Take it. May bowed and took the fan. Thank you. Oh. The woman started walking away, saying something under her breath. May managed to pick out a few of her mumbled words. Be happy, no matter how they tried to interfere. The kitsune examined the gift in her hand and then looked around. An unsettling sense of sadness came over her. She sighed, driving away her thoughts of other people's troubles. If I return without food, I'll only have more worries in my life. I should buy some more as soon as possible. Satoshi and Kazu hardly showed up at the house, and when they did, they ate and immediately went to rest. It didn't seem like Masamune held any sympathy for the ninja. However, he showed no distrust or dislike either. He continued to spend his days outside the city with Kirin. They didn't gather together like they had the first night. May was a little embarrassed about spending her nights under the same roof as three men, but thinking about the lack of privacy on the upcoming trip was much more frightening. It's easier when it's just one of them. It's possible to find time here and there, but now the three of them will wait for me until I die of shame. In accordance with her geisha upbringing, she tried not to show her anxiety or concerns about the future and stayed out of their way. Eventually, Kazu said that everything was prepared, and the four of them gathered. The disguised Satoshi... He is disguised! Everybody was like, why does he suddenly look so different? Because he is disguised. That's confirmed. He was definitely disguised because he looked completely different back in the village. Disguised Satoshi grumbled as he waited for Masamune to lead Kirin from the barn. Whatever you say, contacting this Ronin and coming back here was stupid, May. The Ronin approached. Where are your horses? With Kazu at the end, on the way to the gate. So, if no one needs to fix their hair and makeup, let's go. How mean. See, now he's being back to... He seemed like overly playful last time. And it was like a complete contrast to his personality before, because last time he didn't even talk to us, he just kind of turned his back on us. This kind of seems more in consistency with the character that he showed us before. So, yeah, I'm not sure where they're going there. She furtively glanced around. The narrow street was empty. What was it Takao said? Concentrate on your wish. On top of Satoshi's head is an apple. A big, delicious apple. Kirin clicked his teeth, lightly biting the shinobi's head. Hey, what's wrong with you? Nothing. It's just that animals are empathetic. They can sense the nature of a person. Kirin doesn't like you. Satoshi, getting confused, turned away to straighten his cap while Masamune smiled as he looked at May. Does he know what I did? The illusion of the apple vanished. May rubbed her palm. It worked. Sometimes being a kitsune is good. Her little face! Her little smirk! When they met up with Kazu, Satoshi asked, shall we get a horse for May? Yes. She's a geisha. So? They aren't taught to ride. She'll have to learn. Now, on an unfamiliar horse? The Ronin shook his head. I'd rather she rides Kirin with me. Kazu glanced at May, who stood silently. You decide. She looked dubiously at the line of animals. Why didn't Kazu offer to let me ride with him? What are the points in this one again? Oh, it's like... The two different foxes and coldness and the other one. Passion. Okay, so I was thinking like, do I need a glory point here or something like that? But this is not one for glory points. So maybe I'll go. So maybe I'll just go with Masamune. I don't know, I might need to learn to ride by myself, but I'd rather take Karen. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think like, should I start to learn now? Like I'll just hold them back on the trip, sure, but like should I learn now so that like in a dire situation I can ride well or something like that? I don't know. I just can't help but feel like this is a trick. I feel like this is a trap. I feel like this is a relationship situation. And I'm making a relationship choice in front of everybody. And so I should probably ride by myself. Or this is not, am I just reading too much into this? You know, I don't know. Do you think I can do it? The shinobi chuckled. If you want to, you can do it. I'll stick close just in case. May whispered so that only he could hear. I know. A smile flickered in his piercing eyes. You know what? Yeah, now I feel like that was definitely a trick. Why was that a trap? Did he want to just see what I would do if I would go with Masamune? That was a trap! That was totally a trap! There's a cemetery outside the city. Can we visit it on the way? Not sure why, but sure. It's very close. Alright. Perhaps it's important to you, May. I wrote to the friend I told you about. The one from the temple. You did? About what? At my request, the monks persuaded Mistress Kinuyo to bury Chiko separately from Sumiko and Naoki. Of course, neither Kinuyo, nor they knew why it was better this way. The mere thought that her mentor's ashes and those of the unfortunate Maiko could rest next to Chiko's made her uneasy. The Kasune bowed, expressing her sincere gratitude to the Ronin. Thank you. May didn't know anything about horses, so she deferred to the men. After examining what was available, they opted for a bay mare. The stallions are more obstinate, more often than not. A lot also depends on personality and breed. However, I think this works well for a first experience. The ninja nodded in agreement. Calm, as it should be. May I help? Kazu stopped the Ronin. Let her try it herself. Ignoring Arai's displeasure, he continued. No sudden motions, brave one. Put your foot here. Not that one. Yes, that's right. Grab tight here. Once in the saddle, May instinctively put on the reins. The horse spun around. She's gonna fall. Kazu did not try to stop the mare dancing under the inexperienced rider. He was there and ready to catch May, but didn't interfere, allowing her to subdue the animal. Oh! I get Kazu. This is like him back in the forest when we were leaving the ninja village, and she kind of told him her story and how the whole thing that happened when she was geisha. The night she turned into a fox, and what he did is he gave her a knife and told her, basically kind of empowering her and allowing her to feel like she didn't have to wait for rescue. Like she was strong enough to do this on her own. And I think this is a continuation of this and why he didn't offer to have her ride with him, because he wants to always let her know that she can do this. Like she doesn't need to rely on other people. She's strong enough on her own to deal with it. Whereas I feel like Masamune is more like a little bit more traditional, and he's like, but we gotta help her. He's being really cute too, and it's interesting to see both of their different reactions and how they're handling the situation with her. Because Masamune wants to be really like hands-on and careful and make sure that she's safe. And Kazu is like, you know, no, he wants to just make sure that she's strong and she knows what she's doing. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I like it. Okay, I understand it now. I understand. His voice was calm, as though nothing was happening. Don't fuss. Let it go. You won't fall. Exhaling, May stroked the horse's hot neck, soothing it. Shh, don't worry. Will you give me a ride? Delightful. Shall we go? Shut up! May adjusted to the rhythm of the animal's movement. You're the one who said I need to learn. Satoshi, slouching very naturally into his saddle, played the role of an important grumpy official. The ninja was so convincing that the guards at the gate cast sympathetic glances at Kazu, who was posing as a lower-ranking assistant. Have you forgotten my seal? It's here in the bag, my lord. What about food? Did you forget our meal? Our food is in another bag, my lord. And what kind of food is it? Did you check? Everyone always tries to deceive me. Did they put it in the chicken? Yes, sir. The chicken is fat and fresh. I checked. It smells good. The fake official frowned. You sniffed my chicken? You scoundrel! Had anyone asked, Masamune would have identified himself as the guardian of the officials and the May as the eldest relative. But nobody asked. The guards were too busy checking the caravan leaving the city. While they were waiting for the carts that completely filled the gate to pass, the kitsune's ears picked up on a familiar name. Someone was talking close by. Did you hear about Kunoyo's Okiya? Not lately. What about it? It turns out that it's one of the best and most accomplished schools. Those rumors were spread by men who couldn't get the geisha's attention and envious rivals. So it finally worked. It paid off. Okay. Okay, cool. So they have been slipping around, like changing people's perception of the place. So now it'll be okay again. And the women living there showed generosity and the utmost devotion. Oh, they were slandered? Exactly. The last geisha everyone was talking about, Chiko, couldn't forgive herself for not taking good care of the Maiko, and so she stabbed herself out of guilt and shame. Wow, such selflessness. Ugh, hate that, but it goes with the narrative. And there was another, the first one, what was her name? Sumiko? Yes, Sumiko was killed because she and her people saw too much. Her people must have realized it right away, I suppose, and ran away, but the geisha didn't. Sumiko was asked where the Maiko had gone, but she refused to say. Wow. Wow. It turns out that Mr. Kiyo Sugai, the man lowered his voice, but May was still able to make out his words. Is a lush. There were witnesses. The fox he saw wasn't real. So that guard, Goto, was right? The advisor hired someone to get rid of the geisha, but he didn't expect such a zealous search and didn't know about the guard's affection for Sumika. And Goto sniffed everything out. What now? The daimyo sent Kiyo Sugai to the islands, made it look like official business, but in fact he was expelled because he disgraced himself. Wow! Jeez, wow, that's wrapped up nicely. Can you believe it? First he sees a fox, what's next? Gophers with hats instead of the Shogun's messengers? No kidding. Turns out that that Maiko, May, isn't a kitsune, but did they ever find her? She disappeared without a trace. Who knows where she could have run off to, frightened as she was? Nobody's looking for her now. She'd be lucky if she survived at all. There are a lot of bad people out there. As for Kunoyo and her school, for the dignity they've shown through this, and also so that they don't talk too much. Several samurai have donated money, seemingly by order of the daimyo, but that's not certain. With such a good reputation, the geisha from her Okiya are now welcome everywhere. They both fell silent as one of the soldiers guarding the gate passed. Then they started whispering again. How did you learn all this? Ah, so my neighbor's wife has a nephew that served with Takuma Goto as a guard. My neighbor heard from him. I heard from the neighbor. Tomorrow, the whole city will be talking about it. Oh ho! And the day after tomorrow, the daimyo's men will start chopping off their heads so that people won't spread rumors. To tell you the truth, it won't help much. It depends on how many heads are chopped off. May's eyes shifted to her ninja companions. He did everything perfectly. I couldn't have imagined. How much would Takao ask for such skills? Finally, a line of carts, accompanied by the shouts and swearing of guards, crawled out on the road, clearing the way for the forest. That's real cool. It just kind of like nicely wraps up the arc from season 1, and you kind of feel like, okay, we're actually making progress. Like, so we solve the immediate danger for that whole thing, and making kind of feel better now, because she had a lot of like guilt and everything like that going on, especially about not just Sumiko, but also how the Okiya was doing, because of everything that happened with her. Like, they were looking at them under suspicion and stuff like that, and so I feel like now she can move forward and she can focus on her goals right now without having to think about regretting all these things left behind in the past. And yeah, so it's kind of gives her some nice closure that she definitely could use. Yeah, because that was just a shit situation, dude. Complete shit, dude. That was crazy. But yeah, that was really nice, and it just really did a good job. That's cool. Okay, wait, the cemetery. The cemetery was located near the city wall. Since the geisha's relatives often lived far away, their ashes were not buried with their family, but in the plot of their Okiya. Mistress Kunuo had mourned one of her Okiya's geisha once before, but that was a long time ago, even before May appeared, and she had never been to the cemetery before. She had only looked at it from afar, from the road, when she rode by with her mentor. She looked around, slightly confused. I didn't think it was so big. How will I find them? Kazu slid his hand along her palm without intertwining his fingers with hers. The gesture was fleeting while somehow close and sincere. Wait here. There's a monk, I'll ask. Satoshi and Masamune waited with the horses by the road. Together with Kazu, May approached the right place. Shinobi stopped a few steps behind her. Mr. Sumiko. She bowed to the stone, beneath which were the urns containing the ashes of her mentor, the Maiko, and the geisha who had died many years ago. May remembered her name, but now she spoke to those she knew personally. Naoki, forgive me. After whispering the appropriate prayers, she repeated herself, forgive me. The candles and incense left by Mother Kunuo had not burned themselves out, probably extinguished by the wind. The snow that covered everything around complemented the atmosphere of longing and mourning. May burst an icy crust from the cold granite. She looked back at the ninja. Do you have a tinderbox? It's in the packs. I'll go get it. The shinobi brought some juniper twigs with him. The kitsune decorated the grave with them, then she lit the incense. The lights danced obediently. Thin smoke stretched toward the cloudy sky. Watching the gray wisps, May reflected on her memories, frost and pain. On smiles and how they leave a mark on the heart forever. On the impossibility of saying or explaining something to them now. That loss teaches humility. Goodbye. Let's go back. After a few steps, the ninja suddenly asked, was it scary? What? Fighting a Ryoga. Yes. You haven't changed. You're getting used to danger. I don't know. Probably. When Satoshi appeared, why then? Kazu didn't seem to be looking at her. Tell me, what are you afraid of? His precise guesses became uncomfortable. What did he do? He grabbed her while she was in bed, unsuspected. Ooh. Interesting. She was scared while she was fighting the Ryoge, but she was able to fight, not becoming a kitsune during that fight. But the moment somebody grabbed her unawares in bed, she kind of lost it. She kind of lost it. Wow. Someone else's will? Helplessness? You're silent. If you know your fears, you can control them. Many are afraid of death. You'll just join the majority. Aren't you afraid of anything? The ninja laughed it off. I am, but I don't turn into a fox every time. The bay mare, although no match for Kieran, had a smooth gait. Sitting in a saddle, May felt slightly constrained, but the knowledge that now she could ride somewhere on horseback gave her confidence. If you want to help, you don't do things for someone, you show them how. Is that how you think, Kazu? Trying to touch the reins again, the kitsune allowed her horse to match the other's pace. Okay, cool. After a while, they reached the intersection that May and Masamune had passed in the opposite direction not so long ago. May looked to the south, where the main road led. There, beyond the horizon, is the village where I was born. Beyond it is the capital. And that way, beyond the haze of mountains, is the coast, where the ships sail to the island province. What a huge empire. At such a crossroads, you don't know it, but you feel it keenly. Such pretty landscapes. The weather interfered with conversations. Satoshi tried to dispel the boredom by chatting, but he grew tired of shouting over the wind. Night fell upon them in a low-lying grove, which, as May knew, connected to a huge forest stretching between the hills to the south. He took it off! There he goes! So that's what he looked like in the village! I wonder why he hid his face and Kazu didn't? The canopy is too small for 4. It won't be comfortable for us to sleep. The second shinobi chuckled. We aren't at home anymore. Suddenly Masamune sided with Kazu. Perhaps you've chosen the wrong profession if you're so concerned about comfort. Satoshi, do you want me to share with you? You can sleep alone. Yeah, you can sleep alone. You got someone waiting for you at home. I'm not gonna share with you. I just feel like another trap. No, you can sleep alone. No one will stop you. No thanks, I'm not that keen on freezing. Satoshi looked around. All his companions were smiling. Kazu snidely, Masamune in a friendly manner, May only with her eyes. You're all in on it then. There was a hint of cheer in his voice as Kazu spoke roughly. We'll sleep in 2s. It's gonna be warmer that way and not as cramped. May, who are you more comfortable with? May swallowed her embarrassment. Kazu, do you mind? No, beautiful one. The Ronin spoke up. If there are no objections, I'll take care of the food. Okay, so that, like, even though there wasn't a banner or anything like that, or a choice or whatever, that kind of tells me that I'm on the right track with my choices. Okay, I'll go get some firewood. Since it wasn't her first time spending the night in the forest, May began to prepare the sleeping areas. Satoshi helped gather pine needles. The completely dissimilar, unfamiliar, and diverse company rather quickly set up a camp. They sat down to have a supper when complete darkness set in. Then Arai began to ask May what she remembered from his stories about the Oni. The shinobi listened in. The Ronin was satisfied with May's attentiveness. Taken by a spontaneous desire, May stood and snapped her fan open. The men sitting by the fire turned to watch her with interest. Is she gonna dance? Her dark, bewitching eyes flashed, reflecting the dim light of the moon. May listened to the whisper of the swaying trees, the quiet chords of sparks rising from the damp firewood, the alarming cry of a nocturnal bird, and wove it into music, embodying it through her movements. Exciting and daring, or sharp and precise. Exciting and daring is probably passion. That's kind of what I've been aiming for, I think. She danced sensually, imbued with the grace of a wild beast. Passion. May raised her hands. Her fin twirled through the air before obediently falling into her palm, where it brushed the edge of her cheekbone. Harsh shadows danced, echoing her steps. Path of the Pearl Fox. From the snow lying on the branches, sparkles fell, shimmering with a starry radiance. They spun around the kitsune like a precious whirlwind. A magical veil enveloped her. It's so pretty. She created art, was art. That's so pretty. Guys. And then May stopped, and the magic vanished without a trace. Stunned, Satoshi threw up his hands, unable to find words. Kazu's reaction was brief as always, but it was clear from his eyes that he enjoyed it. Amazing. Beautiful like nothing else. Masamune bowed. Thank you. That was very impressive. A little embarrassed but satisfied, Mei poured herself and the other some tea. The men determined by the order of their watch by lot. Kazu was first, then Satoshi, and toward morning, Masamune. At first, Mei wanted to suggest sharing this responsibility with them, but then decided there was no need for her participation. Objecting to their decision is probably unnecessary. An afterthought made her smile to herself. Moreover, I have no desire to object. Exhausted by the trip, the men went to rest. Mei glanced at Kazu, who remained by the fire. Yeah, stay with him. Perhaps he won't be as bored now? To the side, Satoshi and Masamune's voices and movements gradually died down as they fell asleep. Kazu and Mei gazed into the crackling fire and the silence of the forest. After a while, Kazu noted, "You're not going to sleep." In response, she shrugged. "Sit down next to me." "Why?" "It's warmer that way." He stretched out his arms, warming them over the flame. "For example." What does he mean, for example? Mei moved a little closer. "Am I bothering you?" On the contrary. He looked at the distance separating them and at her. He grinned and sat close to himself, but still safely far away. No, close. Very close. He proceeded to hug her. It did become warmer. "Talk." "What?" "About whatever. I like your voice." She turned to him, trying to find a suitable topic for a story. Their faces were close, and their eyes met. Although, don't. He tilted his head slightly to the side with his lips parted, catching hers. Their tongues brushed, immediately making things more intimate, more open and relaxed. Mei closed her eyes, surrendering to the feelings that stirred throughout her entire body. Captivating her with a kiss, the ninja demanded an answer, the same unrestrained affection and desire. A wave of dizziness engulfed her. Her fingers, which had been softly brushing his hair just moments before, clenched. He became harsher, grittier. He did not stop her or pull away. He let her do as she willed, but took no less in return, sliding his hands along the folds of her kimono, playing with them. He enjoyed the curves of Mei's body. With one hand, Kazu hugged her, supporting her back while he spread the collar of her kimono wider with the other. Hot breath warmed her neck, descended lower. Mei's skin flushed with arousal. She bit her lip painfully so that her sigh did not turn into a moan. Suddenly, Kazu stopped, pulling her tightly against him. The Kitsune heard his heart pounding, his muffled voice. "I can't help it. I'll get carried away. I'm getting drunk off of you." He tried in vain to calm his breathing. "It's cold. You can't. You freeze." "Gentle one, come on. I'll take you to rest." Without waiting for Mei to answer, the shinobi took her in his arms, still holding her close to him, and carried her to the place where she slept. "I'll sit here, nearby. Now, go to sleep." Mei thought, "You're the drunk one? It's me. I'm starting to hate winter." And oddly enough, she fell asleep very quickly, and so deeply that she didn't even hear when Kazu came and lay down beside her. Mei was awakened by a gentle tickling touch on her eyelids. Kazu took his hand away from her face. "It's time." She stretched and reluctantly got up. Somewhere nearby, displeased Satoshi grumbled, "Here you go." He handed the Kitsune a leather pouch. She looked inside. It was filled with pine nuts. "Where are they from?" Shinobi vaguely bent his head towards the forest. "We don't have tofu for breakfast, so I decided to pick and clean some for you." Oh. He's being so cute. Yeah. Do you like them? Yes, especially when they're cleaned. Thank you. You want to please me? When did you manage? They gathered their things. Kazu, either because he hadn't decided what was happening between them, if anything was happening at all, or not wanting to embarrass her, did not show any interest in Mei. And she was grateful for that. She did not wish to reveal anything, especially since she had not yet figured it out herself. The weather had completely deteriorated. The wind blew incessantly, carrying along wet, sticky snow. It was freezing at night. The road was covered with a dirty, icy crust, so they had to travel slower. It was exhausting. They were not always able to spend the night with shelter over them. I can't even imagine. Dude, I live in Texas. It doesn't snow. It doesn't snow. The last time it snowed, I was 9. It snowed for like a few hours, just a little bit, long enough that I thought I got frostbite because my toes were so cold. I know it doesn't even begin to compare to anywhere up north. But I am not good at the cold. So yeah, I can't even. I just feel sorry for them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I really am. I don't know. The next establishment they reached was not the worst. They all had to sleep together in a small room, which should have been called a closet, not rented out to guests. However, it was private. The alternative was a common hall filled with caravan men who smelled of everything that a person who had been on the road for a long time might smell of. After talking with the merchants and once again finding himself on the highway, Kazu figured some things out and said that they would have to go through a village. Its name didn't mean anything to Mei, but Satoshi, who was present during the conversation, was surprised. Why? That's a big detour. We'll lose less than a quarter of a day, and it'll be useful for Mei. A crowd spread along the only street. The group dismounted. People were gathering in the center of the village. There's a platform in the middle of the square. Is it a stage? A scaffold? Oh no. A fair? Maybe a big market festival? In winter? I don't think so. Usually those take place in the fall or summer. Armed people moved among the villagers. Soldiers. Arai realized something right away and asked, Kazu, is this why we came here? Yes. Please explain what's going on. It's a public execution. Oh no. People from the surrounding area have been called here to see justice enacted. A peasant walking near them helpfully informed the well-dressed gentleman. It's been 2 days since they caught the bandit. He killed when he was stealing and for his pleasure. He stabbed the son of a tanner before his marriage. Now he paid for it, he won't die easily. Go. So she sent the man away with a casual gesture. Masamune shook his head. Why? May thought that the shinobi would ignore the question, but he still answered. I told you, it'll be useful. The further they went, the more the crowd thickened. The horses started to fret. Kazu passed the reins of his and Mei's horses to Satoshi. He spoke to Arai. There's a bridge across the stream beyond the village. Wait for us there. Huh? I saw a comment on the video. Wait for us there. This won't take long. Then he said while looking at Mei, let's go. Yeah, what are we doing? We're sharing in the people's anger. She swallowed a lump in her throat. Taking Mei by the hand, he led her into the thick of it. Is this necessary? Uh-huh. Can I not go? Shinobi stopped pulling her forward. You can. But she went anyway. What? Why does he want to show me this? What is it? I'm trying to understand. I don't get it yet. A strange excitement reigned among the commoners. Locals told those who arrived from neighboring villages about the trial. The most curious asked the more knowledgeable how many were robbed and killed by the criminal. Of particular interest was the kind of atrocities the sentenced person had committed. Mei would have described the general mood as one of anticipation. The shinobi and kitsune squeezed into the living mass that smelled of smoke and sweat. Judging by what she saw on the scaffold, the robber was not expecting a quick death. There were shouts from everywhere. A man with a sword on his belt climbed onto the platform. Then they brought out a shackled man. Someone yelled hysterically near Mei's ear. Murderer! On the other side, different voices eagerly shouted, away with him! Execute! Death! Next, a skinny man appeared, unrolled a scroll, and loudly pronounced the name of the bandit. Then he started reading the list of his crimes. The crowd listened. Kazu, taking advantage of the relative quiet, harshly and unpleasantly hissed into Mei's ear. Look, beautiful one. This is what they do with ordinary bandits. What you are getting caught up in may end up worse. Before you decide about Takao, take a look. She didn't look away. She forced herself to watch. The words sentenced to death sounded out loud and clear. People shouted with delight. The Kitsune could sense their emotions permeating the air like a physical force. It was uncomfortable. Everyone is waiting. They want blood. They're spurring each other on. May saw wide open mouths, burning eyes, clenched fists. She understood how ruthless people could become. She involuntarily imagined herself in the criminal's stead. Imagined how people would shout, "Witch, Kitsune, kill." She looked around the crowd, letting their anger, the executioner's indifference, and the culprit's despair flow through her. She wanted to turn away but kept looking, tempering herself. An unfamiliar face of the world was before her, a face that was impossible to observe through the sheltered windows of Nokia. The monstrous, inhuman spectacle of what was happening toward her soul and left her feeling nauseated. Or, on the contrary, perhaps May reacted this way because everything around her was still very human. She was watching the platform. Finally, the raised sword flashed and everything was over. The people were ecstatic. Shinobi led May away. His voice sounded especially cold. "Did you get a good look? Keep it in mind. Then you can make an informed choice." May was pale. She felt sick. She swayed on her feet. Kazu supported her. For a moment, he even hugged her. "Sorry, kind one, for showing you this." I'll remember? May had no doubt that such a memory will stay with her for a long time. You were right. Words cannot convey it. The ninja nodded. By the time they reached the horses, May was almost back to normal. Satoshi, watching the peasants with his eyes, was calmly chewing a rice cake. Masamune immediately asked, "May, how are you?" She politely assured him, "I'm okay, thanks." "Wow. How about a rice cake then?" May diligently feigned politeness. "Thank you, that is necessary." You don't used to see him smiling. These people lack entertainment. Yes, especially entertainment with blood, squeals, and moans. This gives every artisan the opportunity to feel superior, strong. The desire to see someone's torment is beastly, and that's it. Uncharacteristically, May said, "Path of passion. Perhaps if they saw something else more often, it would be different? If instead of public executions, they showed examples of valor, dedication, or at least they didn't show that. You should be quieter with such words. The authorities don't appreciate them. The very people that are being deprived will drag you to the scaffold." Yes, he does have a point. I think there was a grain of truth in May's words. A small one. The two continued on their way. Are we getting close? We'll be there tomorrow. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I understand what he was trying to show me there. I do think it's better that she understands fully the kind of trouble she's inviting for herself, what she's really getting herself into. That she's going to go down this path that she's wanting to, thinking about going down. It says May says hello and goodbye. Alrighty. What does that mean? It's so early for me. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm usually not even awake until like 11. I don't know why I'm up so early today. I'm just like, okay, let me just go ahead and get this done. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to record a bit. My birthday is on Friday. I'm gonna be out of town this weekend. So I feel like I kind of want to record and like schedule some videos for that time. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how we go. Chapter 3, Shelter. The moon is your guide. Please come this way, to a traveler's inn. The village with the scaffold quickly disappeared behind them. However, Satoshi and Arai's conversation about the execution and morality continued, albeit without Mei's participation. The smoothly flowing conversation soon reached the unsteady ground of questions concerning power and law. The shinobi seemed to be at odds with the ronin. In the end, the commoners always get the brunt of it. Surely you aren't going to claim that there are no scoundrels among the samurai. What's his deal? Now he's trying to goad Masamune? Masamune looked perfectly calm. He replied in a bored voice that this wasn't the first time he had had this conversation. I won't, even though it brings them a great deal of shame, but this doesn't apply to the commoners you mentioned. A samurai follows his master's orders. Otherwise, he is unworthy, and an unworthy samurai must die. That's the ideal. Masamune turned in his saddle, looking at Satoshi with bewilderment. That's a rule. The ninja quickly admitted the thoughtlessness of his words. Right, I'm sorry. Oh, Satoshi, trying to question the samurai code is a bad idea, especially when one of them is a sword length away. Maintaining his composure, Arai nodded, making it clear that everything was fine. Still, it's interesting. Shinobi didn't let up. You say they always follow orders. Kazu glanced at him. He obviously did not like the direction of the discussion. Have you heard of the once picturesque village of Aogawara? Near the capital? When the samurai quartered the women right in front of their children, were they also following orders? Kazu intervened. Satoshi, this conversation is awful. Strange how you remember that specifically. However, without finishing that thought, he said, the violence at Aogawara, a village, is a bad example. There were specific circumstances. Mei was coming to understand Kazu's piercing eyes, to sense indifference, sardonic contempt, and guess at other emotions. And what she saw now sent a chill down her spine. If looks had a taste, then this one would taste of blood on a blade. Violence? It was a massacre. In any case, those directly involved are dead. Without waiting for Kazu to scold him again for his prodding, Satoshi finally changed the subject to something less complicated. The conversation turned to drinking in tea houses. Mei let out a quiet sigh. Surely they won't fight over Awamori and sake. In the morning, they passed the last village. With the shinobi left their horses along with Mei's, the path to the mountains that sheltered the clan would be too long and difficult for the animals. Satoshi suggested leaving Kirin behind, as the rest of the journey would not be far, but dangerous for someone with long legs and hooves. However, after asking the shinobi a few questions, Masamune decided that Kirin would go with him. Will they be alright? Why did we walk to my home village? We'll be alright. The terrain was different. This time we're approaching from the north, while that time we descended from the south. Horses don't travel either trail. I wonder how many secret paths they have. Kazu was injured then. May remember how the two of them reached her father's house without incident, and then how she and Masamune were ambushed by robbers as soon as they began traveling on the road. Was that just by chance, or should the way be considered safer? When they turned off into the forest, the ascent began, a gentle climb that gradually grew steeper. They moved very slowly. There were no signs of road or even a path. Kazu led the way, followed by Mei. Behind her, Araya was leading the faithful Kirin. Satoshi was last, and all four walked in silence. Sometimes Kazu would suddenly change direction, as though going around something. Sometimes Kazu led them through deadwood, ignoring seemingly cleaner places that appeared more comfortable and open. The forest around them was wild and dangerous. Mei could feel it. Soon she knew that Masamune was also peering into the shade of the trees. Finally, Satoshi said, "We're almost there." Where exactly? These are the foothills of the mountains. Their village is still far away. I wonder if they'll give me an answer. I'll see soon enough. I mean, I will see soon enough. Is that more coldness? I wonder if they'll give me an answer. Deciding to fight curiosity, May asks. I thought that might be passion. Are we headed to a special meeting place? Sort of. We won't be having a discussion around a fire then. It's comfortable there. You'll like it. After saying that, Shinobi slyly winked at her. May turned away, not wanting to look into his shameless eyes. How dare he? The Kitsune expected to see some kind of hut or house hidden in a thicket. Therefore, she looked around when they unexpectedly stopped, and it was only then that she noticed a cave entrance reinforced with hand-hewn blocks. From a distance of several steps away, it was completely invisible. Amazing. What is this? A secret hideout. We use it for various things, such situations like this. Who built it? The same people who founded our clan a long time ago. The ninja also work with stone? This was built by ordinary masons. They were killed immediately after so they wouldn't talk. Everyone who knew them was killed too, so that no questions would be asked. Just kidding. Ass! As he watched the changing emotions on May's face and the way she tried to contain her resentment, Kazu smiled. Don't be angry, formidable one. He has so many names for her. The people who built it have long been forgotten. Kazu stared at May for a long time. After Satoshi and Araya moved away a bit, he spoke to her. If you want, you could come with us. The walk is dull, but you wouldn't be hanging around here. Her lips barely moved as she spoke so quietly that only he could hear. I'd like to, but staying here with Masamune would be better. A wise choice. That way you'll get some rest. Aren't you afraid of waiting here? No. If I return alone, we'll think about what to do next with your plans in the yokai. Kazu touched her palm, tickling its surface. May involuntarily smiled and nodded. Why do I feel this way with you? There's a lump in my throat even though I'm fine. The Ronin's voice distracted May from her thoughts. Could anyone else show up? If they're human, no. But the forest is inhabited. May recalled the yokai living in the mountains around the shinobi village. Locked the door at night. With Kirin inside, there's enough room for it. The shinobi opened the heavy stone door. There's a boat here. There's a spring beneath the ledge. Collect some water before it gets dark. The rest of the essentials are inside. Avoiding long goodbyes, the ninja disappeared among the trees. When the Ronin and Kitsune were alone, Arai suggested, shall we take a look at the secret hideout of theirs? That is not what I expected to be inside of there. They were greeted by a short corridor with an earthen floor. Masamune made a quick determination. We'll bring Kirin in here later. They found on the door behind an old leather curtain. May would have been grateful to have so much as a shack if it meant she wouldn't spend the night in the forest again. When she entered the room, her mood immediately improved. Cozy. The Ronin looked around, agreeing. It is. There were 2 adjoining rooms in the cave. In the larger one, there was a hearth and some firewood. Also, lamp oil and decent assortment of food. Rice, beans, salted vegetables, as well as jerky and fish. In the second room, there were buckets, clothes, neatly rolled beds, bandages, and much more. There was no dampness or musty air. I lit the fire. Shadows started playing on the walls as the smoke disappeared into barely noticeable cracks in the ceiling. Wow! May spoke up. There are airways here. It's easy to breathe and the smoke gets pulled up. I'm sure you can't see it from the outside. The ninja know how to conceal themselves, and you're very observant, May. I don't think that any of the Maiko in your Okiya would think about things like airflow. May bowed. That would probably be because of my curiosity. Araya corrected her. Your inquisitiveness, rather, is a wonderful trait. May bowed again, thanking him for the praise. Then he went to bring some water. By the time they were finished with supper, the stars already blanketed the sky. After checking the bolt on the door, Araya settled down by the hearth. I'll stay up for a while, rest if you want. I won't disturb you. Is he expecting something from outside? Or is he simply not tired? Yeah, I'm not sleepy yet. I found some good tea on the shelf among the provisions. I can prepare some. Uh-oh. Am I being busted? It's only like 10. Right? Oh. I should stop judging them how much they cost. Thank you, May. The Kitsune meticulously examined the brightening powder made of crushed leaves. It's a shame I can't do it properly. I don't even have anything to break up the lumps with. Tapping on the small container and shaking it, May poured some of the tea into the cups. After filling it with water, she began to stir carefully while still keeping her movements graceful. It didn't turn out as well without a special whisk. However, May managed. Masamune tasted the tea. Delicious. I think that if you want it, you can perform a tea ceremony on only bare stones. She bowed with dignity. You're exaggerating, Masamune. But I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for your kind words. They could not help but please, although the tea that I made is far from what it should be. Thanks for the tea. May took a sip. Good enough. she's a tea snob. Her eyes spoke suddenly. As a child, I loved sweets sprinkled with this tea. I had an opportunity to try in Nokia. You grew up well off. Yes, my father has a big house. During her time around the Ronin, she had learned little about him. All of his stories, one way or another, were about the Oni. In the beginning, Masamune was a frightening stranger to her, and May had feared him. Many events at the geisha school had occupied her thoughts almost entirely. May wanted to know her companion better. She wanted to understand the man with whom she shared not only shelter, but, more importantly, a common enemy. She tentatively tried to begin a conversation. I don't know anything about my real father. The man who adopted me is named Ichiro Nakamura. As a child, I spent a lot of time at his forge. Masamune looked at her, smiling at something. Did you enjoy it? Yes, very. There were a lot of interesting things. Bellows, 3 different anvils, various hammers, chisels, horseshoes. The Ronin's eyes squinted cheerfully. He was on the verge of laughing. May stopped short and then looked down, realizing, yeah, it wasn't a proper place for a girl to play. That wasn't the best thing to share about myself with a man of his position. May, please stop. This is too funny. This is the first time I've met a woman, much less a geisha, who found anvils interesting. It was a long time ago. Looking at you, I wouldn't have guessed. Adding some wood to the hearth and taking another sip from his cup, Arai said, I haven't seen my parents for years. When I get the chance, I try to find out if they're alright. May wasn't going to ask Masamune any further questions about his personal life, but he didn't withdraw from her and continued of his own accord. Since I became a Ronin, I haven't been home. My father was a nobleman, an old samurai. I don't want to see him at a loss for words over a son who couldn't protect his own master. Oh no. He will either be ashamed or just as shamefully he will try to console me. However, there was another reason. The Oni? That's right. They're vengeful. You can't let them see those who are close to you. Ooh, should I say your father will be proud of you? Or does Kieran have any offspring? Should I speak about his father? Like, I want to say that, but if you knew who your enemies are. Forgive me. I spoke my mind, but this doesn't concern me. I'm not angry, May. I don't know if I should have said that. After spending a bit more time sitting with the Ronin, May decided that it was time to rest. I don't know if I did the right thing there. I didn't get any. There was a faint rasping sound as if someone outside had scratched the door with their claws. Did you hear that? Yes. Kieran stamped his hoof uneasily. The sound came again. Don't worry, don't need a ram to open the door from that side. Then came a muffled, melancholic, and bone-chilling howl that lingered in the night air. An interesting forest they've got here. No, I definitely won't be able to sleep anytime soon. I really should. It might be an important conversation tomorrow. Kieran's nervousness became apparent. We can't simply explain that everything is okay. She's scared. May ponder how to get rid of their mysterious guest. Try to scare it away, scare it with an illusion. May crept toward the door. What are you up to? Putting her finger to her lips, she listened. They didn't have to wait long. The nocturnal creature groaned again. May timidly tried to change her voice. If the rodent expression was anything to judge by, it hadn't worked well. An illusion can not only be seen but also heard. Attempting to change sounds was new to her. She felt unsteady on her feet. May exhaled. A soul-chilling howl escaped her lips. And once again, Arai rushed towards Kieran, seeking to soothe the mare by putting his hand on her neck. However, the smart animal wasn't about to panic. She only turned her head and sniffed May suspiciously. Like, what the hell are you doing? After making sure that May was alright, Kieran lost interest in what was happening. The rodent spoke in a whisper. May? Silence fell behind the door. I don't know who or what that was, but it seems it's gone. Masamune put his ear to the treated stone and nodded affirmatively. Yes, seems like it. Influence your relationship with Masamune. You got rid of him with your, magical singing? What did you tell him? I don't know. Do you think it was more than just a howl? We'll probably never know, but it was wonderfully effective. Okay. We might have been on shaky ice with the father comment, but I feel like we're back on track. Wrapped tightly in a blanket, May lay with open eyes, examining the flame of a nearby lamp. She listened to the wood crackling in the next room. If the clan agrees to my proposal, then my life will be like theirs. Like that of Masamune and Kazu, Satoshi and Takao. It'll be a crazy life. It's already a crazy life. Will I be able to return to my old life later? Will you want to? Her heart sank as her inner voice made a sardonic jab. Wherever did I get the idea that I will survive and that there will be a later? It's weird, but when I was still in school, I never felt so weak and so strong at the same time. She kept asking herself questions and reflecting on her plans, trying to focus on the most critical aspects. Every now and then, for some reason, the bitter smell of autumn leaves came to mind. Then May fell asleep. In the morning, everything was quiet in front of the cave. No trace of the howling visitor was found. Arai let the delighted Kieran from the cave. After breakfast, he started sorting through his bag. To avoid disturbing him and giving him a little privacy, May went outside. Immediately close to her ear, she heard a friendly. Her furry nose nudged May's palms, checking for anything tasty. Not finding anything, the horse slightly butted her shoulder, seeking affection. Stroking the mare, May's eyes wandered over the forest. Peering into the gaps between the branches, she picked out shapes. Over there, it wasn't pines intertwining, but a bent-over man dragging a sack. There in the dry top of a beach, a dog was standing on his hind legs. The rest of the day passed calmly. At night, no one scratched the door or howled. The next day, Arai opened the door at the sound of Kazu's voice. May, Masamune. Good day. Hello, Kazu. Shinobi pointed back at one of his companions. Hong. Greetings. Have we seen him before? The third was the head of the clan. Hi! My name is Takao. The rodent ceremoniously introduced himself. My name is Masamune Arai. They exchanged short bows. Please accept my respect and gratitude for the shelter and food you provided, and for the time you've taken to meet with us. Takao responded to his courtesy. I hope our modest reception was not a burden to you. Modest? This room was pretty nice, I'm just saying. To be inside of a cave somehow? I'd stay here. With acquaintances made and obligatory courtesies out of the way, there was the sort of fuss that always seemed to arise with new arrivals. While the shinobi washed up after their trip, May laid out a meal. They must have walked fast without long breaks. They're probably tired and hungry. Restrained smiles became her gratitude. The sorcerer immediately started talking business. May, I knew we would meet again. He doesn't sound too happy about that. Satoshi outlined your and Mr. Arai's Masamune. Very good. You're in Masamune's troubles. Before determining how the clan can help and whether we will, I want to know everything. I will take any deliberate withholding of information as an indication of intent to deceive and insult us. May nodded, recognizing the seriousness of his words. I give you my word that what we hear will not go beyond our clan. After a brief pause, May gathered her thoughts and began her story. She found it difficult to remain calm. However, they did not rush or interrupt her. Only occasionally did Takao ask more detailed questions. When May finished her story, the Jonin asked, "Can I see that medallion?" Of course. She took out the medallion she had received from Nakamura and held it out to the shinobi. Yeah, I thought he had given her a necklace too, on top of everything. Right? I think so. Takao turned it over in front of his eyes, then handed it to Hung. He peered into the gleaming centerpiece. A rare stone. Remarkable. Having returned it, the head of the clan clarified several points regarding the fight with the Ryoge. Then he appeared to become lost in thought. What did he clarify? I want to know. I have a thought. May, you probably won't like it, but do you understand that treatments for some diseases are painful? What are you talking about? I'm talking about gangrene. I don't understand. If your life is in danger because of the mark on your hand, maybe you should... Get rid of it? Even if it means losing a limb? But then what do I do with it? Do I bury it somewhere, hope that they don't find it? But what if they do? And then that's still on me. You know what I mean? May looked around in terror, growing very pale. Her voice became a whisper. No, I would not let... She imagined how they would grab her, stretch out her arm, how the severed hand would fall to the ground. May. Cause he took her by the shoulder, his voice was severe and flat. Look at me. Nobody's gonna lay a finger on you, do you hear? She nodded, catching the confidence and support in his attentive, wicked eyes. Kazu passed her a cup. Here. Then he turned to Hong, his voice a cold hiss. You're forgetful. I told you not to scare her. Hong lifted his palms. I didn't mean to. Calm down, May. Take it easy. Hong, I doubt that would help. The seal is likely to appear elsewhere, if that is the same seal the Ryoge are looking for. You cut your hand off, it'll just move to your shoulder? Oh no! Better yet, it'll appear on your forehead. It's like, try to remove that, bitch. Yeah, it's like a magical seal, so it's probably meant for her, not that simple. You're the expert. Exactly. Until you're absolutely sure that such extremes are unavoidable, it is unnecessary to resort to them. I named the price and what I need. Are you interested in this mission? Are you interested? Coldness. I thought the other one sounded more cold to me, but alright. I told you everything. The gatekeeper is important to me, as is his death. You know what I can offer in return. What if I'm not happy with your offer? The Ronin's intonations had lost their friendliness. What do you want then, ninja? What do I want? Switzerland looked at his companions, then at May. Can I blandly answer this question? This is an exceptional case. I need to understand the risk for my people. The enemy is dangerous and we know so little about him. You can count on me. Are you that interested? I'll participate until we finish this or until I meet my enemy. For me, it doesn't make much difference where I search. They won't do it. They just won't. Her heart sank as her hope collapsed. Suddenly, the head of the clan seemed to remember something. Satoshi mentioned that you were interested in information about Takuma Goto. Yes, I was willing to pay for it. Not enough. He said it was probably enough. The Jonin shook his head. Given the connection this guard should have, not quite, but... Takao paused, his eyes slightly narrowing for a moment. Taking into account his position towards May, your willingness to take on some of these difficulties, and the mentioned amount, I will suggest the following. He pulled up the sleeves that hid the bandages around his palm. Hong will be looking into Takuma Goto. Masamune will go with him. Looked at Araya again. Your intervention will only be needed if Hong and Kao is a Ryoge or an Oni, otherwise don't bother him. The Ronin nodded in agreement. As for whether the clan will take your order, May, I'll decide depending on what they find out. Until then, you can take advantage of our hospitality. May glanced sideways at the shinobi, whom she had known longer than the others. Kazu looked completely different. Just not surprised, or did you guess that what Takao would do? Or maybe you knew. Is all the Jonas thinking just a game to him, or not? Ninja. Want to be of use? She bowed. I dare not question the wisdom of your proposal, but thanks to Masamune, I already know a lot about the Oni's habits. She modestly added, of course this is only from stories. No, May. Let them go with themselves. It'll be better this way. Kazu and Takao said goodbye to Hong, discussing something quietly before they left. Arai was straightening his saddlebags. May approached him. May? I'm sure we'll see each other again. Me too. She stroked Kieran's soft nose. I'll miss you. The Ronin glanced meaningfully toward the ninja. You need their help, but let me give you a bit of advice. Don't forget who you're dealing with. These are assassins and spies for hire. I know. When Arai and Hung were out of sight, Takao said, we must go. They moved up the side of the mountain. The shinobi were tired, however, Takao questioned Mei at length about her progress in learning magic as they walked. Her results impressed him. Then he blindfolded her. The path went through the caves again, but this time it was much faster and without any lifting mechanisms. At some point, Mei heard the very distant roar of the waterfall. The sound quickly died away, however. When the blindfold was removed, Mei thought she recognized the forest where she had studied magic and been dunked in the stream. The clan houses soon appeared. Satoshi was the first to greet them. Where's Hong? On assignment. Hong was Hong the guy that was with him? Only after receiving an answer did the shinobi turn to Mei. Hello, Mei. Good evening. Oh, Mei, back again. The old man who had appeared from behind the house smiled affably. Grandpa Chang'an. Chang'an hugged her without further ado, then he sternly asked, how are you feeling? Mei was flustered by his hearty greeting. I'm okay, thanks. You all look exhausted. Chang'an, please take care of her again. Of course. Come on, Mei. Mei glanced at Kazu, who nodded encouragingly. Opening the door, the old man conspiratorially asked over his shoulder. Admitted, you bewitched them. No, what are you saying? I can't use magic like that. So alarmed. Magic, believe me. Between a man and a woman, there can be sorcery the likes of which no wizard could conjure. She was embarrassed. Nothing like that. Fox, oh Fox. The well-rested Kitsune left the bathhouse, took the oil she purchased in the city from her bag, and tidied up her hair. All right. Look! Look! It's the same color! I mean, it's a different color. That's all! Yo, stop! The amounts! 20, 20, 30. Why? It had long since dawned outside. How long did I sleep? Judging by the silence, there was no one in the house. After getting dressed, Mei was about to go outside, but a knock on the door preempted her. Yes? It was Takao. Kazu praised your tea. Would you treat me to some? Surprised by the visit, she bowed. Of course, with great pleasure. The sorcerer was sitting down at the hearth, accepted a hot cup. Wonderful, thank you. The Kitsune was sure that he had not only come for tea, and she was not mistaken. While we wait for word from Hong and Masamune, perhaps she could fulfill one of my requests. Oh no, it ended. There was only 2 episodes, right? Let me go check. No! There's another one. That was Shelter. There's another one. Okay. Hold on. How long are we going? We can fit another one in. Yeah. Another episode then. Episode 4. May contemplates trust and betrayal. So it contemplates it. Not necessarily that we are being betrayed. I don't know. I'm hungry. I need to get something to eat after this. Chapter 4. Shino Odori. A weird dark night. A fox crawls on the ground for a beautiful melon. What kind of request? What can I do for you? Surely you remember the path you took to the south with Kazu. I do. Through a cave with a lifting mechanism, then to the trail through the forest. Not very convenient, right? May smiled politely. Once, there was a shorter path, a suspension bridge over a gorge. But then our unusual neighbors started damaging it over and over. The yokai? Yes. I was unable to discover their motivations. We accepted this inconvenience long ago, but since you're here, perhaps they would accept a kitsune as one of their own and be more talkative? The Jonin's gratitude would surely be reflected in his decision regarding my request. They're hospitable, and Kazu and Satoshi came right away. I should try to help. I'll give it a try. Great. Is there anything you need for this task? You tell me! I need to get to that lift. I happened to meet one of the local yokai there. It makes sense to meet with it again. Satoshi will take you there. Wonderful. That smirk! Dude! The head of the clan promptly left. As she went outside, May paused. Should I pay Kazu a visit or go to the cave right away before it gets dark? He didn't come to see me. Is he resting? Should I... What if I annoy him? Otherwise I might seem impolite, indifferent. Hello, thoughtful one. Good afternoon. I didn't hear your approach. You were looking within yourself, not around. You're right. Did you talk to Takao? Yes. Do you know what about? I do. We discussed it yesterday. You said it wasn't dangerous for you to have a chat with the yokai, but a river is for swimming. You get careless, you drown. I'll keep that in mind. Come with me. Where to? I bet he won't answer. I won't even ask. After passing a few houses, the ninja looked at her intensely. He grunted, then he said, I have to leave. She did not dare to ask for how long or where to, so instead she asked, Right now? Yes, there's something I need to do. I didn't expect to come back north for you. May bowed, once again feeling uncomfortable for bringing her troubles to Kazu. I'm sorry. Nonsense, but I do need to resolve this. It won't take long. You won't even have time to get bored. They approached his house from the side of the terrace. Look up there. Shinobi pointed to the board that ran across the top of the doors. The sledge. Stretch out your hand. Do you feel it? Press it. She obeyed. Nothing happened. Stronger. Locker houses for the children. Inside there are weapons and poisons. Something clicked. The door opened slightly. Promise to remember? May nodded. He said, Give me your handkerchief. Uncomprehending, she pulled a snow-white, neatly folded piece of fabric from her sleeve. Shinobi took it and went inside. He returned after a moment. Now you have a reason to come in. No need to be shy if it's to get something of yours. It's inside on the table. That's adorable! You can come whenever you like. The outskirts of the village are quiet. While I'm away, no one will see or hear you here. If you want to be alone, come over. You probably won't have that opportunity at Chang'an's. Slightly embarrassed that he cared about such a trifle, May looked down. I'm fine, thanks. His jaw twitched slightly. You grew up near a forge, right? What happens to metal when it's reheated? Unsure of where he was going with this, May replied, it gets brittle. Allow yourself to relax, otherwise you won't last long. His comparison only fed her growing embarrassment. May fought it back. She wanted to turn away from him and stare off, allegedly at the mountains. Kazu didn't let her. He caught her chin, holding it and stroking her cheek as he looked into her eyes. Strange one. There's a blend of strong character and a sense of insecurity within you. He kissed her. Boldly, immediately taking full possession of her lips, her mouth, for only a moment. Then Kazu and May said their goodbyes. That was so nice. May didn't see Shino Odori that same day. Oh, Shino Odori, right? That was the name of the of the guy, the yokai, right? Let me write it down, cause I forgot it. Hold on. This note here is for. I thought the name seemed familiar. But I could only remember the name of Shino from Naruto. The bad guy. Sitting here writing notes. I'm always writing notes. Stop. Stop. See, Shino Odori that same day, or the next day, or the one after that. The inhabitants of the surrounding mountains and forests seemed to be in hiding. Only the invisible Beto was walking around, following her in the shadows. I don't remember who Beto was. Accompanied by the cocky shinobi, May visited several other places where, according to the Jonin, the yokai were seen most often, to no avail. Toshi did not disobey the Jonin's order. He followed May as much as and wherever she wanted, but he did not enjoy the trek and made it known at every opportunity. He sighed, grumbled, rolled his eyes. May did not pay attention to it, considering this a lesson in patience and benevolence. A few days later, May decided to visit the lift again. Okay, this seems like it's gonna be it. Let's check the ceilings and stuff, see if we can spot them before they show up. The ninja who accompanied her waited by the cave's entrance. I don't see them yet. This time, moving along the stone passage, May heard no other footsteps behind her. Perhaps Beto had recognized her as a Kitsune and, preferring to frighten people, lost interest in her. Or perhaps the reason was different. Silence is so thick. Sound of her own footsteps didn't even echo off the low arch, drowning in the dark instead. She reached the mine where she had first met Shino Odori. That's nothing. Say something? Shouldn't make the locals wonder why I'm here. Otherwise, who knows how long this will take. Peering to the farthest, darkest corners of the cave, she did not notice anyone. She spoke, feeling a little foolish for speaking to nothingness. Good morning. And again, no echo. Her voice faded out as happens with fog. May repeated louder. Good morning. Sorry to bother you. Can I talk to someone? Lady Shino Odori? Something moved in the darkness, slowly approached her. Can we see it? I don't see it yet. Oh, there she is. May Fox. Hello. Still alive. The glowing eyes came closer. You came back. Yes, I wanted to talk. Shino Odori smiled. With me? To what do I owe the honor? Oh, on the contrary, I'm the one obliged. I need your help. The yokai spread her limbs, dropping lower, almost flattening herself against the ground in a strange, spider-like pose. I'm listening. Not knowing the etiquette of yokai conversation, if it existed at all, and whether she should adhere to it in this case, May proceeded straight to the point. There used to be a suspension bridge leading south from here. The shinobi would like to restore it. If there's any reason this bridge is an issue for you or the other yokai, maybe this could be settled? Do you need help, or do the ninja? May told her the truth. It will be profitable for me. The yokai repeated what May had said as if enjoying the sound of the word. Profitable. Does the fox need something else? Only the bridge. I'll think about it. When should I return? Wait here. I will think quickly. Okay. If the clan can do something for you... No. We have coexisted with the people of the clan for a long time, comfortably. More is not needed. Strangers, only neighbors, humans. Takao did only ask to speak to the Ryokai about the bridge. However, settling this matter will be even better. It will show him that I'm not helpless and I'm already worth something. May persisted. Perhaps I can do something. With just one tail, you won't be able to. My magic is not strong, it's true, but I could try to figure it out without magic. Exchange? Excuse me? You do something for me, I do something for you. Exchange. Okay. Good. I will tell you about something very important to me. A secret. You will keep it. I may need to ask the shinobi for help. Yeah. Like, I want to be as straightforward as possible. I may need to ask for help. No. Uh-oh. People can't know. Trying to calm her down, May lifted her palms. I see. I promise, I won't tell anybody. Just between us, you and me. May responded with a slight bow. Yami no Koi, my sister. Yami. Got angry with me and took away something dear. A comb. I need it. A hair comb? Yes. Why do you think that powerful magic is needed? Those with weak magic have tried and failed. I don't know how you will do it. Am I to ask your sister to return it? Yami no Koi will not. If it were so easy, I wouldn't be asking you. Nasty sister hid somewhere. Escaped with it. Doesn't matter. But I need my comb back. Is it really with Yami no Koi? I didn't say she had it with her, but she took it from me. Find it. Excellent. Find the item that was taken away by someone who's disappeared. Moreover, it's not clear if they even have the item or not. So you would have to be an experienced sorceress to do that. Do you know anything about the comb? Where it might be? Yokai thought about it. She said that if I'm not stupid, I'll find it. I'm not stupid. But I can't find it anywhere. Lady Shinori Odori, tell me as much as you can. In silence, the casino considered Shino Odori's request. What is so special about this comb? What's the reason for your quarrel with your sister? What does the comb look like? Okay, let's start with that. What am I looking for? A silver spider. I don't know why I feel like I should be taking notes, but I kind of feel like I should. Hold on. Okay, I need a new sticky note page. Hold on. Okay, so about this comb. I feel like we're doing like detective work. Okay, so we have a silver spider. Silver spider comb. Okay. Her eyes widened as she emphasized. Very pretty. A spider hair ornament. Truly to each their own. Is that person, Ryohei Noda still alive? Alive and well. I'm not that old. All this happened not too long ago. Who does she talk about? You really can't tell what I'm hoping for? But I don't need to find you, do I? Who is he? Completely worthless. What attracted her to him? Nothing unusual about him. He runs an inn by the road. Oh, okay. I think this is, Okay. I think I was supposed to ask, what about, why her sister was mad? And so that would have given me this guy's name. But I just kind of glitched into his name anyway. So this guy is why her sister is banned. Am I right to say that Ryohei lives right near these mountains. What exactly did your sister say? You can't do without a comb. You haven't talked to Ryohei about this? What he gonna do? I don't know. What exactly did your sister say? I didn't go to Ryohei just once. Many times. As often as her. Yami no Nikoi found out and got angry. We got into a fight. Not surprising. I didn't want to apologize, so I shouted that he loved me and not her, just to spite her. She said that if that's the case, I should let him see who I truly am. Let him accept me like this. May considered Shinoadori's words, she asked, is Ryohei single? He was in the summer. How big is Ryohei's house? Small, but clean. He is a good host. She suddenly added, and has never served udon without soy sauce. Have you ever tried to get help from others who can take a human form? No? Did the fox come up with something? Maybe. Can you handle this? Can you figure this out without magic? I'll have to. Will I see your comb for sure? Yes, you are a yokai. Does Yami no Koi know how to hide things? No. I don't think so. At least she didn't used to. Do you believe her words? She didn't just break the comb and throw it to the bottom of the river or something like that. She couldn't lie. I'll try to find it. If you do, I'll help with the bridge. How can I find Ryohei's inn? I will accompany you there. As often happened, May's doubts were quickly followed by an ironic commentary. Seemed as though I've been provided with the eeriest companion. I was unhappy with Satoshi, now I'll have much more pleasant company. All smiles even. The yokai's teeth left. All smiles! I'm sorry! It took me a minute. The yokai's teeth left May with no doubt that she was facing a predator. Oh my gosh. This guy kind of sounds like a scumbag. He was sleeping with both sisters. So what is May's plan? To seduce him? I don't know. Left May with no doubt she was facing a predator. I'll take you there. Sure, only if it doesn't inconvenience you. Oh, that's coldness. I just try to be polite. I guess coldness is politeness too. I gotta try to keep track. I can get there myself. It'll be more convenient for you. Faster. Can you swim? What? Swimming in water. Foxes paddle and don't drown? I understand, but it's winter. It's very cold. Shinoadori seems surprised. Is that so? Then on foot. Longer, but still faster than on your own. I hope it's very near. When will we go? Soon. Are you clothed for the forest, or will you run in your own body? I probably should get changed. I'll wait. I need to go back to the Shinobi village. It will take me some time. I understand. I'll wait. Just to bring some food? We'll find some along the road, fresh. Yes, I definitely should bring some. Or what is she gonna catch? Do you think that Ryohei has to comb? May answered evasively. It's worth checking out. That whole conversation, it's just like, whoosh, lots of details, and I'm just like, what? I feel like I got like half of the story somehow. May and Satoshi found the Jonin near his house. Nothing? No, I'm in luck today, I think. A yokai is asking a favor for a favor. What are you talking about? I promise not to tell anyone. However, I need to leave the village. Tell me no more. She bowed to the sorcerer. I want to make this work. I don't want to have I don't want to have distracted Satoshi for so long in vain. May forced herself to bow to him. Ninja looked at her like they had just met. He respectfully tilted his head, nodding a bow in return. Great. May hastily went through her things. Not this, too thin. This one isn't completely dry from the wash. I have to put it on like this, otherwise it'll be completely uncomfortable. There was a short knock on the door. It was Satoshi. Here you go. Might come in handy. This clothes are suitable for the forest. He handed her a bundle. Thank you, but where did you get these? Shinobi chuckled. The clan has a variety of clothes. I don't know. If you ever need a siege weapon or an empress's outfit, I'm sure I could come up with something. Oh, he's good at like disguises and stuff. He's a difficult person, but he isn't completely hopeless. After the ninja left, May got changed. Alright. Practical. 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 This practical. Then she grabbed a bag filled with food and hurried outside. So just she parted ways with me at the cave, Shinoadori was waiting. Passing the shaft with a lift and traversing a complex network of tunnels, they went into the forest. The yokai moved quickly and almost silently, effortlessly, like a spider, climbing the large jumbled boulders on the mountain slopes and jumping over streams. May had a much harder time. She often had to ask for a break. While she was resting, sitting on a fallen tree, the yokai disappeared into the thickets in search of food. The first time Shinoadori brought a bird and offered to share, May refused, much to her companion's surprise. The yokai immediately devoured her prey, feathers and all. After that, the yokai ate so that May, fortunately, did not have to watch. When the sun had crawled very close to the sparkling snow-capped mountain peaks, they made another stop. Living among people wasn't good for you. Weak magic, slow-moving. A fox belongs in the forest. I could hardly give up things like Ofuro. Shinoadori shook her head and decided disapprovingly, closing her mouth with an audible click. Those stones are really close to the ripe melon. That's the name of the inn? Yes, I will stay here. May pulled out a rice ball from her shoulder bag. She took a bite, considering the distance they had covered. They had traveled quite far. Shinoadori not only knew the terrain, but also enjoyed the use of the forest's unusual yokai trails. Since the journey should have taken at least 3 times as long. Wiping her hands, she observed. Still, my chance of successfully completing this task would have been much greater if I had a shinobi with me. They may not be able to see the comb, but they would at least help me enter the inn. Don't trust them. The shinobi clan? People, all of them, they are treacherous. I don't think that's true. May spoke from her heart. People are different, like yokai. I.e. raw meat. You're cunning. Beto walks. This is our nature. People are deceitful. I hope you will be convinced of this before it's too late. I'm already convinced. A man saved me. Shinoadori stubbornly jerked her head as if denying May's statement. You live next to people. Sometimes you even seem to help each other. We make exchanges. We aren't friends. She think that way because of Ryohei? We're going after something that her sister stole from her, not a human. Should I remind her? Why? I might make her upset. I doubt that would help convince her. The yokai held out her hand, pointing at a cluster of boulders. Over there. May hope that there would be a hint in Yamino Kokoi's words. Is there a hint? If there is, I don't remember the words enough to... That conversation didn't leave me with much. She had pondered them all the way from the mountains. Show her sister that if she isn't stupid, she'll be able to find it. It was something for Shinoadori to figure out, but what? The comb is invisible to humans, but is in some obvious place. In a place out of Ryokai's reach, where people are? Ryohei should have loved Shinoadori for who she is. This all started because they were close. A gap appeared in the trees ahead. The Red Melon Inn looked no different from any other May had seen. It wasn't located near a large village, and so it was small. There's no one outside. I'll pretend to be a lonely traveler. She recalled how quickly trouble had begun the last time she'd visited an inn alone. I got unlucky then. It can't always be like that. Slowly approaching the building, May was convinced that it was hardly worth expecting anything unusual on the inside. Stable to the side, nearby is a haystack prepared for the horses or a new roof. Is that a woodshed? Yes, that's right. There must be a chicken coop in the back. Should I enter the main hall? Maybe there's no point. I don't know. I'm very confused at this point. Maybe. After reflecting for a moment, the Kitsune decided to do so. And I believe it would be so simple that the comb is just lying in some corner, unnoticed by anyone. But I need to make sure. And these clothes are hardly look like a peasant girl. I have to come up with something more believable. In the common room, pretending to be a servant traveling by order of a lady from the city, she ordered some rice and tea. While they served her food, which turned out to be quite decent, and she drank hot tea, which turned out to be much worse, May carefully studied the room. She is a tea snob! Curiosity flashed through her concentrated composure. What would it be like to see something invisible? After making sure that the comb was nowhere to be found, she returned outside. There was nothing suspicious. Guests occasionally left to attend to obvious needs. Someone goes right to sleep while another person goes out to the stable. She thought things over. There aren't many rooms here. The master's bedroom, servant's room. What else? Kitchen, pantry? That's it. But how can I get there without being noticed? She immediately stopped at that thought. This all started when I was accused of witchcraft and put on a wanted list. Then I stole clothes, helped a criminal escape, became involved in the death of a guard and a geisha. And now I'm wondering how to get into someone else's home and take a comb to increase the chances of the ninja accepting my order. What's next? Conspiracy? A geisha's life should be very different. What about the life of a kitsune? May walked around the house. In the backyard, indeed, there was a chicken coop, as well as a pile of split firewood and the stump on which it was chopped. And a huge dog, rushing toward May with a low growl. I was surprised, May staggered back, tripped over something, and fell. Saliva dripped from the dog's canines as rage blazed in its eyes. Eyes fixed on the vicious animal bounding toward her, May tried to scramble away. Her back bumped against a barrel of some kind. The dog was quickly closing the distance. No. She shielded herself with a hand. At the very moment, the world began to expand in a familiar way. She was taking on her true form. The live fox rolled sideways and jumped back. Fangs snapped right in front of her nose. May could feel the dog's hot breath and smell its wet fur. The dog's next lunge was stopped short by a rope around its neck. May dove into the shadows. The dog was trying to chase after her, held only by a lead stretched to its limit. It's gonna rouse the whole inn. Living in the Okia while still unaware of her true nature, mongrels had frequently barked at May. But they barked at other people too. That was the extent of their cowardly aggression. The shaggy beast that was straining to reach her now recognized her true nature and appeared intent on killing her. There was still some truth in fairy tales. This beast definitely does not like foxes. It's very unlikely that here at the inn it would throw itself at everybody like that. The back doors of the building opened. A man who appears to be a servant approached, grumbling. Who are you barking at out here? The kitsune quickly hunkered down behind the woodpile, but the cursed dog could sense her and threatened to give her away. She had to retreat to the inn, where the likelihood of being noticed by people was much higher. The voice came closer. What's the matter? Immediately another voice responded. Look everywhere carefully. Maybe a fox got close to the hen house again? Oh lord. Well, what if it's the bandits? The village across the river was robbed last night. He spoke in a menacing tone, but May could hear the fear in his voice. The other man cut him off. Cursed fool. Well, what would they be looking for here? We have nothing to steal. Take the lantern. Look, he wants to go after something. Untie him then. I'll tell the guests that everything is fine. Oh lord. I need to distract them somehow. Illusion magic. Just concentrate it. First, the dog. Unleashed dog rushed after her shadow, a haze that slid along the wall of the inn and to the side, leading it away from the kitsune. Going around the man in a wide arc, May ran to the chicken coop. The man did not notice the illusion and followed after the dog, brandishing a stick. Come on. The fox stood on her hind legs and pulled the front latch, then she pressed against the door. She rushed inside, scattering wildly cackling hens to the sides. Come on, everyone out. The birds, flopping their wings and raising clouds of feathers, fled from the predator out into the yard. May followed them. She was no longer interested in the chicken coop. The chickens! Someone released the chickens! Dumbass, where did you go? But the fox! What fox? Catch the chickens! They'll get away in the dark! A tall man had appeared in the yard and gave orders, grabbing at a bird running around under his feet. Looks like that's the master. Yeah, hey. Hey, over here. The dog was bewildered by the shouting, fake shadows, and clucking. With no idea where his prey had gone, it climbed onto the woodpile and barked. Someone else ran up from the stable. It was quite a commotion. The entrance to the inn remained open. The kitsune slipped inside. Several doors lined the corridor, and May quickly figured out where the main hall was. Reasonably sure most of the convenient and therefore most probable locations of the remaining rooms, she decided. I'll examine the owner's room. She proceeded to the door furthest from the kitchen and nosy hall. The fox saw the comb almost immediately. Like, wait, is it that thing in the sky? In the ceiling there? It was hard to believe that someone couldn't have noticed the decorative comb stuck under the ceiling in the gap of a beam. It was unusual, but not magical at all. Are yokai really the only ones who can see it? It's too high up. A shout came from outside. Close the door. You're letting the heat out. We don't have unlimited firewood. Jump onto a chest. That looks like I will break it. The fox easily climbed into a nearby chest. The wall shelf? Black and white fox jumped to the shelf and her inertia sent her sliding along the smooth surface, knocking everything on it down to the floor. Oh no, I should just jump from the chest. Oh no! It looked kind of sketch to begin with all that stuff there. Neatly folded clothes tumbled, followed by a straw vase, then a rope box from which a pair of tailored scissors fell with a clatter. Oops. Footsteps came from the corridor. Oh lord. What was that noise? Another jump. The fox flew past the person peering into the room. Kitsune knocked the comb to the floor with her paw. The ornament flew off into the corner with a metallic clink. Oh, a fox? A fox. There's a fox. He stomped, trying to either kick or crush her. Damn you. He missed. May did not dare to use her magic openly. The appearance of a kitsune at an inn would mean too much gossip and talk, but sooner or later could reach Tsurugi. His second strike almost missed his target, but only barely. Take that. Take the comb. The man struck a third time. May tried to rush past him. His reed boot harmlessly grazed her fur. The fox grabbed the comb with her mouth. The man blocked her escape by slamming the door shut. May darted for the window. Her furry body desperately soared into the air, and snapping bits of the frame and tearing the stretched paper, she tumbled onto the ground outside. The kitsune had barely jumped to her feet when a pitchfork thrown by someone stuck in the ground near her. Get it! She kept running. A dog was barking behind her. People shouted. May did not look back. Reaching the edge of the forest, May stopped to catch her breath. May has the comb. Okay, we might have went about that in a very not the best way, entirely, but we got the comb. That's all that matters. Mission complete. Look at her smug little face. She's like, yeah, bitch. She listened. I don't hear a chase. The stubborn dog gave up. Her body arched from hitting the windows, ached from hitting the window bars. She had scratches all over. Only now did she begin to feel it. Her pounding heart gradually calmed down. She was about to look for Shino Adora when she realized that she had lost her way while fleeing and didn't know exactly where she was. When I went to the inn, I came out of the woods in a different spot. There should be some familiar stones around here. She saw none. She looked around, gauging the direction of the right melon. That way, it seems. There's a fire. It grew darker among the trees. The twilight quickly turned into night. Soon the kitsune slowed. Oh no, I think I should go that way. When campfire lights appeared ahead, May knew she had been wrong about the direction. Was this a camp? In the middle of the winter forest? There's an inn not so far away. Should I see who they are? She stealthily moved forward. At first, the fox thought they were robbers like those who had once attacked her and Masamune, poorly dressed and not very clean. It's obvious, I've already seen plenty of the like during my travels. She turned, but then a strange detail caught her eye. They have horses, expensive but decent. Kitsune looked the group over again. His armor next to the fire. Doesn't that warrior have 2 swords in his belt? It's good that I'm in fox form. Who are they? Who are they? Definitely not your ordinary rabble. The group was talking about something. May's inquisitive mind drew her near. Curiosity is always how it begins. It doesn't suit a quiet life. The fox's soft paws silently crossed the fallen leaves and branches covered with snow. Staying outside the circle of the light from the nearest fire, May hid in the shadow of a bush. She couldn't see the speakers' faces. They were sitting with their backs to her, dark silhouettes against the background of fire, but she could hear every word. Either the scar or the eyes. It was the second time. If we failed, then what then? What happened was an accident. No, it's his fault that the peasant recognized him. No one should know about our robberies. What? Nobody knows. The peasant is dead. He's taking risks. We can handle this ourselves. Do you see yourself as the commander of our gang? His last word carried a hint of sarcasm. The second man was poking the coals with a stick. Maybe I do. Don't share your thoughts aloud. If you found out, you regret it. 4 days ago, we ran into one of the daimyo's patrols. Please remind me who suggested we go through the hills. He's smart and cunning, and he knows this area. They're talking about like an extra person is around. We might need to get out of here. Okay, fine, but why does he ride with carts? He wants to control everything. And when the peasants said that they have nothing to pay with, he knows they're lying. If he didn't try to control both groups, things would go much faster. We need to be careful, not faster, so that no one finds. Another figure approached. What are you talking about? Just reminiscing about your sister. Laughing, are you? If I see you near her, I'll kill you. What are you doing here? It's your patrol. Don't tell me how to do things. I've got it. I'm still thinking about the leader's daughter. One from yesterday or what? Across the river? Her. After we're done with all of this, I'll go back there. The conversation became increasingly distasteful to May. With no regard for the language they used, the men discussed some early encounters, as well as women they had simply seen. May was not sure that she had understood everything she heard correctly. She decided to wait a little longer. Looking at the third person sitting by the fire and having no experience in such matters, she did not expect that there might be 2 people patrolling. Oh Lord. To her left, a branch crushed into someone's foot. Turn around slowly. Fox tried not to make any unnecessary movements. A man armed with a crossbow was approaching the bushes that covered her. A few more steps and he'll see me. If I start moving, he'll notice right away. I'll be an excellent target against a snowy background. How? You matched the background! Suppressing the wave of panic that began to rise, she looked at the shadows under her paws. The air around had darkened, the night thickened. The warrior was getting closer. Very slowly, so as not to give herself away, May lay down flat against the roots of the bush. Her black and white fur merged with the same black and white frost-covered branches. That's what I thought. It was almost impossible to notice the magical changes in the shadows. The warrior walked by, whispering under his breath. It's cold, so cold. Soon a bird hooted in the forest. The lookout responded to the call in kind. Then a horse snorted in the dark. Its harness clinked as it walked closer. A commotion began among the fires. 2 armored horsemen with swords approached the camp and dismounted. One of them, clearly in charge and wearing a decorated helmet, stepped forward. May examined his face. The strange bandits approached their guest and bowed. They were saying something. It's too far, I can't hear. I need to get out of here. Lord, he's the most dangerous one. I don't want to get closer to him. But I feel like this is important. We might need some info. Something's going on here. All attention turned to the newcomers. The three men whom the kitsune was listening to also got up and quickly walked toward the one in the ornate helmet. May quietly followed them. Hiding behind a large boat, the kitsune could see everyone. A dozen members of the camp greeted the newcomers. Report. Master Haruko Igashiri, no news. Everything is quiet. Haruko Igashira. I spelled that wrong, didn't I? I totally spelled that wrong. Good. Well, no, you're still calling him warrior. Tomorrow we finish here and move to the main road. As before, both groups are separate. You remain in full secrecy. The second is openly along the road. We meet on the spot. Memorize the order of the villages to visit. May listened as attentively as the others. The one named Haruka Igashira began to list the settlements. Two names were familiar to her. She had passed through one of them with Masamune when she was going back to the city to face the Ryoge. The other one she knew was very close to the village of Ichido Nakamura, until we reached the provincial border. From there, the first group turns to the capital. Yours is to spread out, and to come back in pairs. We will not work in the northern province. Is the order clear? People around him confirmed this in unison. The warrior with the scar and his companion, who never spoke, jumped into their saddles. The others bowed again and did not straighten their backs until the horses disappeared into the darkness. Have you heard? Tomorrow's the last village, then the crossing. Change the lookouts. The rest of you disperse to rest. The group began to break up. And the kitsune, seeking to learn more, hurried after the riders. Oh, Lord. A night in the woods on horseback, they certainly won't notice me. Are they heading to the right melon? It turned out that they weren't. Horsemen reached the road where a detachment was waiting for them. Rare would be the subject of the Norio Empire who did not recognize a carriage with strong doors and reliable locks. Tax collectors. And certainly, no one would have mistaken the banners of the soldiers guarding them. The three intertwined rings represent the United Provinces. The red background and is the shoguns. These are his people. Oh, hey, this is the scene from the, what's the name? From the beginning. She found it difficult to believe. Collecting taxes on behalf of the shogun and robbing the peasants along the way. She clearly remembered her father's words. The people are hoping that the commander of all the empire's troops can bring order. How can the shogun do this if the samurai are traitors? Okay. I'm guessing we just discovered some very serious information. Didn't she have a joke about what's next conspiracy theory? Yes, it looks like that is what's next. So while we're waiting for them to go get information and come back, it feels like maybe we're going to be dealing with this. And they're going to be getting pretty close to our father's village. So we're going to need to go make sure that they don't get there and hurt them. Because, I mean, so the peasants don't lie about not having anything, but they don't have anything. You just like taking from people who are like already don't have any, like barely surviving. Like, Lord. On top of like making deals with the tax collector. I'm not entirely sure everything about what's going on, but I'm guessing it'll come out more tomorrow. But we have the comb. We are still lost in the forest though. Hopefully Sheena will maybe find us or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We got some more nice times with Kazu, understanding his character even more. I like him a lot. I like him a lot as an ally. Yeah. He's my favorite ally. Out of most of the stories that are playing right now. Yeah, he's really cool. And Masamune is warming up too. He was really being really cute this update. I thought so. Okay. I guess we'll just see what happens next time. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm hungry. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and show a like button, some love, subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye.